Hi, hello, I'm Sam Harrison. I read, review and discuss fantasy and science fiction books. And today I'm going to be discussing an e-book. No, I'm going to be discussing an e-reader. I'm going to be talking to you guys about the Boox Go Color 7, which is my personal favourite e-reader of choice. So I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about what makes this e-reader special. I'm going to be talking to you guys about the things that I really like about it, the things that I don't like about it, and then I'm going to compare it to the other readers that I use on a fairly regular basis, and I'm going to talk to you guys kind of through those as well. So, first off, what makes this special, and why do I like it the most? So, this e-reader is by a Chinese company called Onyx. They have a sub-brand called Boox, and through Boox they make e-readers, and these e-readers are all they're all available on like sites like AliExpress for fairly decent prices, but you can also get them on Amazon. So I bought this from the official Amazon store. This is this e-reader is special to me specifically because it runs Android. So if there's an app for it in the Android store, you can install it on this e-reader. So it has a 7-inch screen, which I think is, to be honest, big enough for e-reading. And personally, I think it's a pretty good size for manga. If I wanted it to be perfect, I think that maybe I would go for a little bit larger for manga to try and replicate the exact dimensions of a manga tankobon page. However, I think that this is clear enough that you're able to read everything. And also the thing that you may be able to see is that it's colour. Look at that. That's cool as hell, right? Like, colour e-ink is something that's only really come about in the last couple of years. And Amazon has now released their Coloursoft e-reader, which I actually have been considering buying purely to review and then reselling, because I would be shocked if I prefer it to using the Go Color 7. But everyone's kind of getting in on colour nowadays. But I do think that this particular device has everything that I want when it comes to an e-reader. So, for example, I have installed on this the Shonen Jump app. I have installed on this the Kindle app, the Kobo app, the Google Play Books app, and I've got a couple of other e-reader apps that are like load your own books and stuff. Because there are a few books that I own from places like Humble Bundle that were literally just sent to me as EPUBs. So for anything like that, that goes straight onto here. You can also, if you're a book reviewer like myself and you get book review copies from NetGalley, you can actually read them straight on the NetGalley Shelf app, which is available on Android as well. So while I would always say you're best off with NetGalley copies just sending them to another e-reader device, so either like, Kindle, Kobo, etc., and you can read them there. I do think that if you're gonna do reviews, you could do it directly on the NetGalley app. So the reason why I would say make sure you get them on another app is that when they expire on the NetGalley app, they are gone. But if you've downloaded them to your Kindle, they're still there. I actually missed 2 books that I didn't know I'd been approved for, and they were pulled from my NetGalley shelf before I could read them, and that was actually genuinely really annoying. So, c'est la vie. It's my fault for not keeping up to date with NetGalley, but the emails got, unfortunately, filtered into my spam, and I never saw them. But anyway, so the things that I love about this device that are not just software based. So the fact that it's Android is great, but the things that I will say are really great are the screen is lovely. I mean, I've added this wallpaper myself. This is the logo from the Wheel of Time. If you are not a fan of the channel, which I understand, I'm a very small book related channel and these e-reader reviews tend to gain a wider audience. I am reading The Wheel of Time this year for the very first time, I'm reading it with my friend Matt from another YouTube channel called Bask in the Story. And so that's why I've kind of got the Wheel of Time logo here. I wanted something that had like a clear background that also showed some color. And, you know, one of the things that I unfortunately don't get with this particular e-reader is you can't set your current book that you're reading as the cover automatically. That's something that I do with my Kindles that I really like with my Kindles. But c'est la vie. There are very, very few negatives with this device, and that's an extremely minor one that most people won't even be bothered by, because most people don't actually pay to remove the ads from their Kindles. Whereas, because I've done it in the past, I've got the books that I'm reading are up here. But anyway, so why do I think that this Kindle is better aside from software? So I want to talk about a few things first. So number one is construction. So the actual physical design of the device and how it's built and how it's constructed. It's extremely solid. There's no flex in it at all. The screen is glass, and it's really, really nice as well. I mean, it could be plastic, to be honest, but it feels like glass. Okay, and like nobody come for me in the comments. It feels like glass, and that's enough for me. The thing that I was drawn to this e-reader by is these two things. So those are page turning buttons. I was a devout Kindle Oasis user and had been for many, many years. And when the Kindle started to upgrade to being USB-C, I was absolutely overjoyed because every device I own is USB-C except for my Kindle. And I'm not even joking, like my laptop is USB-C, my work laptop is USB-C, my phone, my tablet, my other Kindles, for example, are all USB-C. And I was just really wanted to move away from having, and just, you know, now I can go on holiday with one cable. And that's pretty cool. So I'm going on holiday with my one cable, and I've got my USB-C e-reader here, the Boox, on its Go 7. And when they didn't update the Oasis, they just stopped selling it. I was like, okay, what other Kindles are there that are USB-C? And I tried a couple, and I really did like the Kindle Basic. I think the Kindle Basic is genuinely excellent. But this particular e-reader, for me, is just a much, much better experience. So I love the page turn buttons. These are also like really clicky and nice. Can you hear the click? You probably can. It's also got speakers, so you can listen to audiobooks through it. You can also watch YouTube videos on this. Not that I would do that. I don't even have the YouTube app installed. I've seen a few people who have shown YouTube videos playing on e-ink devices. And aside from the novelty of it, I don't think it's worthwhile to do. I did install the YouTube Music app on here though, because I'm a YouTube Music subscriber. So I am able to control my music directly from my e-reader, which I do quite like. I have a spare pair of headphones, which I've hooked up to my work laptop, but I've also hooked them up to this e-reader. So I'm able to do things like immersive reading using Audible. I'm able to do things like listen to music straight off the same device. And that means that I'm not, for example, distracted away from reading by picking up my phone, changing the track, coming back to it, that sort of thing. The device in and of itself is quite snappy and responsive. The other thing also in terms of physical design, which I've forgotten to mention, is the back. So when you touch your Kindle, especially one with page turn buttons, you actually spend the majority of your time touching the back. And this has a really nice light matte texture to it. You can probably see it, but it's like got this very, very light matte effect on it. And I'll tell you the reasons why this is great. Number one, this just feels nice to touch. It genuinely feels nice to rub and touch. It's like it's almost like sandpaper, if that makes sort of sense, but like an incredibly, incredibly mild. It's not abrasive in any way, but the actual feeling of touching it is really nice and doesn't attract fingerprints. So my hands get really greasy really quickly, which sucks. And when I use a lot of my devices, I often like just go and wash my hands quickly before I pick up my device. But when you're reading for hours on end, like I will often sit down at like 8 o'clock at night after my kids are in bed and read until 11 o'clock at night with very few breaks. And when you're doing that, no matter how clean you were beforehand, my hands are going to be greasy by the time that I'm finished reading. And this particular device does not take fingerprints, does not take grease. Absolutely fantastic. It looks now on the back the same way it did when I took it out of the box in like May this year, which is genuinely incredible. So let's talk about negatives. So there is one particular software bug that I have found, which has been a little bit annoying, and that is where the screen does not always rotate. And the other thing is how long it takes to turn on. So I've pressed the on button now, and what we're going to do is we're going to hang out and we're going to wait until the thing has turned on and it's available to read a book. So now I'm vamping for a while because this is actually a very long process. It looks like it's going to turn on now, but no, now it's on a loading screen. It's kind of similar to when you turn your phone on because it is like a phone, it's like a tablet. It takes a while to get everything kind of lined up and all the apps started and the menus loaded up. And if you look now, it's available to read. So you can see all the apps that I have installed. So I've got things like a manga reader. Let me just quickly try and get this so that it's focused on the screen. Yes, it is. Okay, so I've got Kobo, I've got Libby, which is fantastic. I love reading library books on this thing. I really don't ever read library ebooks on other devices, but because this is so easy to do, I do it all the time. I've got playbooks on there. I've got the Play Store in case I want to install any other reading apps or anything like that. All the Google apps are like hidden in this folder at the top here that I don't really use. This is the main page of apps. I've also got the Everand app here. So I am planning on trying out their subscription next year. I have tried Kindle Unlimited in the past. I haven't tried Kobo Plus, which is Kobo's subscription service, but I have used Kindle Unlimited, as I was saying, so I want to kind of try and review all three at some point next year. The Kindle app is how I read most of my books, honestly, because I have a huge backlog from purchasing on Kindle for the past, decade or so. You can set it up exactly how you would set up a Kindle, so it's got lovely blue chapter headers, which is fun. And this is a page from John Gwynn's Fury of the Gods. So I'm hoping that I'm not spoiling that for you, but you can see how good the quality is. Let me move right in. So you can see how good the quality of the screen is and how easy and readable that text is. I use the Open Dyslexic font, which is something that my friends Laura and Mare and Rebecca put me onto. And I just find this a lot easier on the eyes. And I actually find that I can read for a lot longer in single sessions without my eyes or my brain getting tired in the same way that I cannot with normal fonts. So while I'm not dyslexic, I use the dyslexic font and I love it and I evangelize it to everyone I know. So this works basically exactly the same as a tablet app would. So, you tap at the top, the menu comes up, and this is just the Android app for Android phones, but from, the Kindle Android app, exactly the same as is on an Android phone if you have one. So I've got my whole library here. I can read every book. I can see the colours of these covers, like beautiful, colourful covers. Oh, let me focus on this, damn it. There we go. So you've got these beautiful, colourful colours on the covers. And this is actually a great page because it kind of shows you the different kinds of colours and covers that you can see. And the reading experience is genuinely fantastic. Now, if we go into the Shonen Jump app, let's go and find a comic to look at. First off, that looks great to my eyes. This lovely cover here with, again, all the colours in the Jump app. Now, manga is pretty much all black and white, so you don't get as strong of an experience as reading an American comic. But let me find something One Piece is going to be appropriate for. That I do not want to read the latest chapter of One Piece. Sorry, everyone. Let me go back. So there's gestures for going backwards and going home and things like that in the exact same way that there are on other devices. So there's chapter 1 of One Piece. Okay, so and one of the first things that you'll see is chapter 1. Does it have a nice color cover? No, it doesn't. So the thing that I really like about One Piece here is it's got like a nice like red shading to it, which is from the Shonen Jump app. Like they've put that in. So if you looked at this on a tablet, it would have this like reddish shading. And then, I mean, look at the quality of this. Like there is no way that like no better experience, I think. If you want to read manga on a portable device, because manga is black and white, the clarity that you get from an e-ink screen, the beautiful lines, I just absolutely love reading manga on this thing. You can even also set up the page turn buttons, so they're on this side now. So I can turn the page. I have not set the page turn buttons up for the Jump app. I've not read enough manga on here, I'll be honest with you. But you can really easily set it up by going into the settings, and basically these are technically volume buttons, right? That's what the device thinks they are as an Android device. But you can set it up so that the up and down button performs a swipe from the edge. So you get that really nice reading style. I do often prefer to read outside of the Shonen Jump app on a third-party application called Mihone. I just prefer the interface. Let me just go in and pick out the same chapter in One Piece here. So this is the same chapter in Mihone, and I do just generally prefer it. You log in with your Shonen Jump app details, so it's all very much the same. But I do think that it's a little bit faster, and I feel like it's a bit more optimized for e-ink, even though it's not designed to be optimized for e-ink. But as you can see here, I can very comfortably use the page turn buttons. And we've got this lovely, very light red shading, and you can see here how genuinely excellent this is as a reading experience. And, you know, I'm shocked that I have not read more manga on here, because it is genuinely excellent. Like, if you're a manga reader, this is probably the way to read it. A device like this one, especially because this one has color, so you can see the full color pages when there are some, usually at the beginning of volumes and stuff, you'll have full color pages. So let me find one in another manga that I have been reading called Kagurabashi, Bachi even. I'm trying to not spoil myself and get right. Okay, chapter 1 of Kagurabachi. So oftentimes, like I was saying, manga will start with full color pages, and there you have it. So that is a full color page of this manga, and I'm like, look at the quality there. This does not look any better on the screen or anything like that. That really is just as good a quality as it actually is in the reader. It's a really nice reading experience. It's obviously got a backlight as well, so if you're reading in a dark room at night, you obviously can't read a physical manga volume, but you can read this bad boy. I will often read comics and stuff as I am putting my son to sleep at night, so I put the backlight on quite low, but still enables me to read a comic, or oftentimes I am reading ebooks, I'll be honest with you. Let me pull up an American comic so you guys can see the kind of scaling. So this is a comic called Geiger by Jeff Johns from his Ghost Machine label. And let's try and find an actual page. Where is a page? Oh no. Okay. I'm just going to have to randomly scroll to the middle of this comic, because there's lots of like adverts for other comics in here. Okay, so, I mean, here is a full page here, and you can see again the quality of the line work, the colours, the clarity of the text, But the thing that I would say is, because American comics are designed for a more of a tablet-sized screen, something like this is just a bit too small. So you can read this text, but it's honestly not a great experience. So that's the reason why I only have this one comic on here that I bought from the Kindle app, and you can see pretty good quality. And if you go here, so you can swipe to go home. That just takes you to the home screen. Very similar as like swiping on your iPhone to go back to your home screen. You've then got the back menu here. So you swipe up there and that will take you back a step. So if, for example, I'm in the Kindle app and then I am in my book and then I just swipe to go back and I'm back in the Kindle app again, and then swipe to go home. And then on this side, if you swipe, you get e-ink settings. So this is where you can change the refresh rates and types of refresh. So if you're the kind of person who's like, oh, there's a bit of ghosting on this, so you can see still, some images or text from the previous screen that you've just been looking at, the previous page, you can change the types of refresh rate. So I have often found that with books, the device is very good at getting the old text away and bringing the new text in. But with comics and artwork, you do sometimes get that ghosting, and then it's just change the type of refresh. And the more intense the refresh, the more battery it uses. So the big negatives here are, like I said, that the turn on time is very long, and naturally, at default settings, the device will turn itself off after you've left it for like 10 minutes or so. I've extended that window to 8 hours now. So most of the time, if I read a little bit with my coffee in the morning with breakfast, and then I read a little bit at lunchtime, and then I read a little bit at my kids' bedtime, all three of those times I'm not having to unlock it and turn it back on again. I'm just unlocking it like this, where it's press one single button and you're basically straight in. So that's my big recommendation, is that if you are going to be using this device and you're the kind of person like me who likes to pick up and put down your e-reader a bunch of times throughout the day, you may want to do something where you extend the standby time rather than getting it to turn itself off automatically. You also have here the kind of like quick settings. So you can do stuff here like turn on auto rotate, which I do have on. However, I've said before that the auto rotate does not always work. And this is exactly what's happening here, is that the auto rotate has decided not to work. If I go into the auto rotate settings and I turn it off and then back on again, it will work, he says. Okay, might need to be in a book. So yeah, most of the time there's no issue, but sometimes it will just decide to stop working. The one thing that you can do is you can manually auto rotate it. I mean, most people just read books one way, but sometimes I have to swap hands. Like if I'm doing something like, say, for example, I am holding a baby, trying to get the baby to sleep, and one arm gets tired, I swap hands and then I swap sides where the buttons are. But you can go into the auto rotate settings and then you can just change the way you want the screen to be oriented with these buttons here. So if I do that, it automatically rotates the screen like that, and then I'm golden. So that's, if there's ever an issue where it's not rotating, that's what I do. That's the only major bug that I have seen with this device. I've had no app crashes. I've had no issues with connectivity to Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. This is just a generally incredible device. Uploading the wallpapers was a bit of a faff, because I had to use like an app on my phone to transfer something to it. You could possibly have plugged it into a laptop, but I didn't try that. I just followed their instructions, which said use the Boox transfer app. However, again, I did it once, and I'll probably do it one more time when I swap from reading Wheel of Time to another series, which I'll be doing. I'll be reading Malazan, Book of the Fallen next year, so I'll be swapping from Wheel of Time logo to a Malazan logo, probably. This also, as I said, charges via USB-C, which is great. It's got space for a SD card if you run out of storage, but I have got tons of stuff stored on here with zero issues. It's got, you know, some saved music on here in case I'm offline, or it's got a couple of audiobooks downloaded, and like, again, zero issues. I think it's got like 64 gigs or something mad. Like, tech nerds don't come for me. I am a tech nerd, but I don't view this as like a tech gadget. This is like an essential everyday e-reader for me. Yeah, I mean, there's very, very little to fault this on. And while it does not have the months-long battery life that you could get out of a Kindle, I do tend to charge this. Actually, I can't remember the last time I charged this. Probably around once a month I'm charging this. But if you're a really heavy user, you might charge it every couple of weeks. But we're not talking like Apple Watch battery. We're talking like iPad battery, if that makes sense. So the battery will last a really long time, especially with limited use, because it turns itself off. You end up, like, as I was saying, this is on 50%. I genuinely cannot remember the last time I charged it. It was not this month, and I don't know if it was in October. So if that helps you decide whether the battery is any good, it really, really is. So if you have any questions about this device, drop those down in the comments below. One last thing I wanted to do is compare this to a Kindle. So the biggest negatives that I have is, again, sometimes it takes a while to turn on. Let's have a look at my Kindle here. So I had the Kindle Scribe, which was the most expensive Kindle you could buy. They have now done a new version, but it's still, you know, premium product. I clicked both buttons at the same time, and we aren't actually. So that actually, you see there, took a lot longer to do the Kindle. However, they turned off at roughly the same time. And if I do it again, yeah, a little bit quicker because the Kindle's kind of had that time to warm up. But the Kindle can be a little bit slower to sleep and wake. The Scribe is obviously a very nice premium product. However, the back does get a bit fingerprinty because it's made of metal. Although I do like a metal back, and I am okay with that sacrifice. It's a nice premium feeling device in the same way that this is, where I would argue that Amazon's more premium plastic Kindles actually feel quite cheap compared to the Boox, because the Boox has this textured back. The Boox is also much cheaper than the Scribe. I think that this one was £200. It's like $250. As I said, if you're willing to wait, you can get cheap ones from places like AliExpress. However, I can't vouch for how easy they are to change the language into English and stuff, because they will be fully in Chinese. There's a couple of e-reader reviewers on YouTube who have done like full deep dives into, you know, Chinese e-readers and things like that. That is not me yet. However, you know, stay tuned to the channel. I would really like to try out the Boox Palmer or a similarly sized device. So if you would like to see me review one of those, make sure to like and comment on this video and tell me you want to see it, because that will give me the push to spend my hard-earned money on it. So I think that's everything. Really, this is literally, I use this every single day, probably at least an hour a day, every day. I absolutely love this little thing. I love the versatility of it. I love the fact that I can buy books wherever they're cheapest. So I don't just have to buy from Amazon like you do with a Kindle. I also like that this is not set up to advertise to me. So I turn this on straight into the reading experience of whatever lap I had left open. But there's no adverts here. Boox is not trying to sell me the Boox Unlimited subscription. It's not trying to get me to buy books from the bookstore. It does have a store, which is on the bottom here, but you can set your e-reader to open up whatever tab you like. I have some Shannara books that I got from a Humble Bundle, and I've added those to the library here. So they're actually on the device in the library. So you can look at those there. And then, as I said, you've got your store here where you can buy books. A lot of the books are Chinese books because the Boox ebook store is Chinese and the ebook store is taking forever to load. However, Oh, in fact, it's saying there's a network error, but that's fine because I'm literally never going to use that. And then you have settings here. It'll also tell you, so in fact, yeah, 64 gig on this device. So that's telling you I've used 30% of the device storage. That's with a lot of comics on there, which are quite heavy in terms of size. Then we've got the apps page. This is my most used apps. And then you have these extras on the side. So an audiobook player, the Shonen Jump app, and YouTube Music, as I was saying. If I show you guys some, well, I won't play any music because, you know, copyright. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with this device. I absolutely rate it. So again, if you have any questions, you have any queries, anything you want to know, drop down in the comments below and I will try and answer every single one. If you have any tips or tricks, let those go in the comments as well. If you want to tell me your favourite e-reader that I haven't reviewed, so I've reviewed the Scribe, the Kindle Basic and the Kindle Paperwhite on the channel, but if there's any you'd like to see a review of that I haven't done a review for, I do love e-readers, so pop down the comments and let me know. I'm really interested in trying out the Kindle Colorsoft, and I would like to try out a Kobo device. However, a lot of my device reviews are based on what I can get cheap, secondhand, and resell. I did get this one new, but the others I usually buy cheap and resell straight away. So I kind of knew that I would want to keep the books if it was not terrible, so I got it new and was like, oh, I can return it if it's bad. Anyway, that's a long-winded way of saying thanks so much for watching today's video. Please give it a like and a comment, and if you'd like to see me talk about science fiction and fantasy books, then here is the channel to be on. I make videos every single day of the week, Monday through Friday, so no weekend videos. Monday through Friday, I review one book every single week, and then the other videos are kind of fun, different little videos. I'm doing some read-alongs on book series like The Wandering Inn and The Wheel of Time, and I'll be soon starting Malazan next year. So if you're interested in any of those series, please do keep an eye on the channel. And also subscribe, join the community, be a part of this, and I will speak to you guys next time. Goodbye.